Welcome to Happy Hour, brought to you by Best Damn Bookkeeping. The applause is wild.
Oh, look at that sexy hat.
Yeah, you got one too.
Repping the Omni.
I didn't do my hair, so I felt naked, so I just had to put a hat on.
Yeah, I didn't want to tell you earlier, but your hair looks like shit.
Oh.
Jai flashed in for a second. He's working it. He's working
all
it.
over the place.
Yeah, he's
Sorry.
wheeling and dealing. It's Wednesday. Although there's a couple Tuesdays coming up. I had to move a few episodes to Tuesdays because I'm like flying around the world doing things.
Yeah.
Are any of you guys going to Jimmy's got his event in Raleigh? JC, I think you're not going, if I recall.
I'll be in
correctly.
Vietnam.
Yeah. You're still traveling. I think Joe Deveneaux is getting
Let's be
married.
in Vietnam, you know.
Nothing
Yeah.
big. Nothing.
And
nothing.
what's the dates for that?
Well, look at this guy. It is the 17th and 18th of July. So I think it's right. It's like the week before I come to see you, Rob.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm doing it. I'm going to it. Trevor's being all like
He
weird
puts on,
over
He
there.
puts on a fun event, and the place he's actually doing it, Angus Barn, is the where we just did the Omni. Rob was there, and that place is pretty fucking awesome. So daytime, cool vibe, nighttime, incredible food, and it's just a good little place to hang out. And the hotel, if you stay at the Hilton, it's like half a mile from there, so it's really easy to get in and out.
Yeah.
Nice.
We said it's all super convenient, but it's going to take you like 8 minutes to go that 1 mile. But hey, it was just a stoplight, and then you had to make a weird, funky U-turn.
Yeah.
So you're good.
Do you just walk it? But then
No.
I actually texted Jimmy today and said like, hey, where do I stay? Sounds like the Hilton is the
In a
place.
van down by the river.
NBC Suites is
We're
awesome.
having
Look
What's
at
up,
this.
fellas?
Party going on in here.
It's a freaking
Oh,
party.
yeah, look at this. It's the all dude show.
Yeah, I better
Not the all dude show, but the all dude show.
I better bust out my
What's
Is that an Apple device?
An Apple device.
What is going on?
That's new.
My
What's he
wife got a
doing?
new iPhone last night. I figured I'd show you.
Oh.
Wow. Are you
Don't
still
do that.
you're not gonna pull the switcheroo though?
No,
not gonna
heck
get-
no, I can't.
Heck no.
Look at
I
that.
admire them. I admire all of the companies that have built products like an Apple iPhone, but can't use it.
Yeah, I don't do fruit.
Too much sugar. There's
Yeah.
Too much sugar. in
Yeah,
that
too much sugar. Too much sugar. As this is the starter drink for today. Actually, this is the third drink for the day, so we'll just clarify that.
Matt dropped a question in here. What's up, big dog? He says, why is everyone so beautiful today? And I know the answer. It's because JC put a damn hat on. Otherwise,
Oh,
you
man.
wouldn't have been saying that. You should have seen him before you
Well,
jumped on.
Not
Looks
good.
And with no woman in here, we're all looking better, right?
Mhm. Yeah. Without Angela in here, the rest of us look a lot better. Without any comparison. It works out great.
You got Jersey Shore in the house over here.
That's right. Just looking all. But he's still probably wearing cowboy boots right now. No, he's not. Should be. What's up, fellas? I wasn't sure. I was ready to monologue today. I wasn't sure who we'd have, but now I got the trivia questions pulled up. Before we get to trivia, though, I think it'll be a fast trivia. We've done some trivias that take the full episode, and we could do that. But I do want to. There's a couple things we keep talking about. We did a little bit of this on a past episode. Trevor, I think you actually jumped on it where we talked about performance pay. I'm gonna spend some time teaching on that. Not today, but that's another topic I want to hit on. Today, I want to hit on pricing. I get asked all the time about pricing. And usually when I get asked about pricing, the question is backwards. And so in the logic is backwards. And so I think it's a natural inclination we all have when we think about our prices. So I want to talk a little bit about pricing and hear how you guys do your pricing before we play trivia. You guys cool with that? Doing actual business stuff? Should we do just a little bit of business stuff?
Yeah,
To guarantee that we run out of time for trivia, sure, let's go for it.
Hey, we can go fast on the trivia. We can put time limits on it and stuff. We can get Jai can give us a little stopwatch in the background or something. if you're out there and you're tuning in and you're a first timer, maybe just so you know what you're getting yourself into, this is just your business entertainment. This is like a more sports radio show, but a business afternoon happy hour show. You can tell by Rob's bitch ice that he's got over there. His mic's hard. I got me a little whiskey Coke. Although I was as I was grabbing the can of Coke for the whiskey, I realized I had lemonade in the fridge and I have some sweet tea vodka. It's like 1 billion degrees out, and so I'm a little bit regretting that I didn't just go with a sweet tea vodka lemonade. That's pretty damn refreshing this time of year.
Like an Arnold Palmer. I like Arnold Palmers. Those are good.
Oh, those are tasty. Denise chimes in, says, "Be prepared. We're doing business stuff. Look out." Brandon says, "Great topic. I always wanted to see different methods." So I'm gonna give a little like rundown of an approach to pricing that I like to use for our businesses and what I coach our clients on. Because again, this is like a question I get, and usually they come to me as the bookkeeping and finance nerd because they want to look at their costs and like build up their price. And I'm not saying don't do that exercise, but my main lesson to y'all is the market already dictates the price. The price is predetermined. Now you can decide where on that like spectrum you want to be. If you want to be the highest price or somewhere in the middle, like you got to have a strategy about where you want to price. But your costs should not dictate your price. Your price should dictate your costs. You got to build the business model around your pricing. Not and I say this because a lot of times guys start out and they don't charge nearly enough. And we like in pressure washing, we like to make fun of the $99 guy. And it's generally because they're pricing based on their costs. They're not pricing based on what the market is willing to pay. They're looking at what's going on over there. She putting on your boots? Somebody's got to be putting on your boots. But I think there's a few ways I like to get at that and some exercises you can do. Brandon chiming in 700 reviews for JC.
Thanks, dude.
Like just for JC or for your business, or you just have your own like JC's Google profile and you're just getting your own 5 stars.
Yeah.
No, way to go. 700 fans, only ones. But so when you're coming up with your price, that's my big lesson is if you look at it based on your cost, you tend to not charge enough. Figure out what the market is pricing. And it's a reason why it's so important to like build a network of, I'll say competitors, but like who your best friends should be are the people doing the same thing in your marketplace. Like know what the best people are charging. I'm out like Yeti Books is one of my main bookkeeping competitors. Mike and I are very friendly and I'm always looking at what they're charging. They charge a little bit more than me in general, but like, that's good to know. Like they're kind of set in the market. And so my costs don't dictate my price. I look at what the market's willing to pay, and then I have a strategic decision about where I want to price in there. And Yeti has their pricing online, so I can just go look at it. And like I said, I know Mike, and I can chat with him about it too. Not saying you should like oligopolize and price fix or anything like that, but we do the same thing in Minneapolis with our window cleaning. Like we have a Facebook group just for the window cleaning businesses around. And we're constantly talking about different ways we can get better as an industry. And so it's very much like grow the pie and don't try to like grow your slice of the pie. If the whole pie grows and everybody's doing pricing better, it makes everybody better instead of just you maybe getting some shitty clients at a low price where you don't make any money anyway. Brandon says, follow his posts, and as a fellow pressure washing owner here in Indiana, huge accomplishments for sure in my second season. So Brandon, this like pricing conversation is probably relevant to you because again, like a lot of times when we start out, our costs do dictate our price because we're not even sure what the hell the market rate is. I'm curious for you guys on here, how do you come up with your price? Are you buddies with your competitors? Trevor doesn't have any because he lives in a town of like 3 people, so he is his own. He is the market. But how do you come up with that price? How often do you talk to your friends and competitors and make sure that you're charging enough and they're charging enough? Like, do you guys have those conversations? Trevor, you're nodding your head. What do you think?
Yeah, I'll jump in. I'm almost embarrassed to even mention pricing and return on investment with Michael Grigory on the phone, but
He's
just a guru.
he's analyzing you right now. Look at he's actually running a spreadsheet.
Taking notes.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what we did that changed everything for us. We started doing with just my lead techs. I started doing job costing, and I basically just created a basic form. We already had our percentage of revenue targets that we knew we needed to hit, and we were doing that as a company wide, no problem. But what you do with the job costing is you break it down. So let's say you're doing a job that's roof cleaning, house wash, window cleaning, driveway, rust remover, gutter cleaning. It's got everything. Well, we take that down. Yeah, let's just say it's got everything. What you do is you have that one person that you can trust to take that data down for you and just say, okay, I spent 2 hours on the house, 1 hour on the roof, hour and 20 minutes doing the gutters, whatever it is, right? And then you take that data over one season and you can break it down and you really find out which services are the most profitable and which ones you need to raise your prices in. So for instance, we found out by far our highest profit margin is rust removal, which is the easiest service we offer. It's an oxalic acid in a pump up sprayer. So we just turned that into a system going forward. For every 1 gallon of the mix that we use that we keep on our pump ups in the truck, we charge $150 for it. So it's an easy add-on. It's quick. I mean, we're talking about 10 extra minutes on the job site. We add $150 to the check, and the guys get their 10% plus their performance pay on that. So we job costing. Yeah, that really brought into focus the things we need to focus on. Yeah.
Do you think and do you think it was partially like it's so profitable because you were already charging enough when you job costed it and like I said, I wouldn't use my cost to dictate my price, but to exactly what you said, Trevor, it's the mechanism to figure out like where you're priced right and where you might be priced too low or too high. You might have great margins and not be able to sell it, or you might have shitty margins. You're like, man, yeah, everybody wants us to clean their windows. Oh, no shit, because we're like way down here and we're not making any money when we do it. When you did that job costing, were there things where you said, oh shit? And again, like you're in a little bit of a unique case where like you are a little bit of the market setter in a way. Did you adjust anything that you're like, man, like we got to work on open up the market rate, or we got to just like in the case of rust removal, we just got to go sell the hell out of this thing because the market rate's great and we kick ass at it.
So we went up almost 40% after that first month or 2 months of doing job costing. We went up 40% on our house washing price immediately, and nobody said a word. Nobody even noticed it. Shocking. I could not believe it. We doubled our price for gutters. We added tier pricing for all of our gutter services. So anytime we do, first level, second level, third level, and this was all because of the job costing. So our profit shot through the roof, and then we switched to performance pay, and then it just doubled it again. But to answer your question, it completely changed how we do our pricing.
Yeah, it gave you the conviction to be like, we're not charging enough on these things. And one of the real quick interjection on Rob and JC and Michael, I want to hear from you guys. But one of the things I find too is we're also worried about increasing our pricing or changing our pricing. And I get that in recurring services, like as a bookkeeper, it's hard for me to adjust prices because people are seeing a price every single month. Like I do have a mechanism to do it every single year. And I let customers know right when they sign up, like we adjust prices once a year, every single spring. We're always going to review the data and adjust prices accordingly. And I think that's super important, is to like let your customers know in advance that prices are going to change. Like as long as it's kind of like when I go on a hunting or fishing trip, as long as I let Marty know far enough in advance, she's fine with it. But if I drop it on her and be like, hey, by the way, I'm going with Trevor and we're going to go do this next week, she'd be like, what the hell, dude? Like, that's not cool. But if I said, hey, 2 months from now, I'm going to go do this, she's like, sounds good. Just put it on the calendar. And pricing is the same with our clients, right? As long as they know in advance how our pricing works and it's not a surprise to what you said, Trevor, is like you might have more wiggle room than you think. Yeah. And like, again, this is a little bit harder to do with recurring services, but I'll talk about how I've done it in recurring services. But with window cleaning, pressure washing, and more like one-time services or annual at best services type of things, you can change your damn prices tomorrow, right? Nobody
Mhm.
that calls you tomorrow knows what you were charging yesterday. Like you might have some bids out there, and those might be hard to go back and be like, oh, Mrs. Jones, just kidding. It's going to be $700 instead of $500 or whatever it is. The only downside to changing your price is like the administrative work in your CRM. It gets a little trickier when you're bigger and you've got more of a price list and whatever to change. But people are so tentative to change their pricing, and man, you can change your prices every day. And again, that's back to the market rate. Like that's how you figure out what the market rate is. We would do that in maid services, which again is a recurring service. We wouldn't change our prices for existing clients. We'd change them for all the new leads coming in. And we'd do that for like a month, and we'd screw around with it and try like really high. And then we'd call competitors, and we'd try to figure out how high we could go where it wouldn't really damage our conversion rates. Once we figured that out, we figured out what the market was willing to pay. Then we'd go back to our like ongoing customers and say, hey, here's how we're going to change the prices, and we're going to do it over this period of time. But you can use tomorrow's phone calls to learn what the market price is and start adjusting your prices to figure out where that market is. Rob, what do you guys do? How do you mess around with
So
prices?
I think the big for us from what agree with Trevor, like revenue per hour.
Hold on, you gotta use a different microphone. You're choppy. Get some earbuds or something. Yeah, you're robotic. JC, while Rob is solving microphone issues, JC, go.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody doesn't know Trevor, you should and should follow him, because what he does down in wherever he is, South Carolina, is absolutely incredible. The numbers he puts on the board, and we had a conversation not too long ago what his revenue per day is with a one-man crew. It's freaking mind-blowing. Nothing that I'm doing, but we did switch over to doing performance pay in the last couple of weeks, actually 6 weeks ago, I guess, and that really helped a lot with revenue per day getting done. But as far as knowing what competitors have, there's a few guys in the area that I talk to, probably not so much as I used to, but I know we're probably one of the highest in the area. I mean, we hear it from customers telling us like we're $100 more, $200 more than the other bids they had. Can you come down, meet the price, blah, blah, blah. And I'd say 2022, it was like the Wild Wild West, and you could charge anything back then, and people were paying it. And I feel like over the last 2-3 years, with the ramp up of just so many people pressure washing and businesses coming in and out, like we've had to lower our house washing square footage price in the last 2 years just to even stay a little bit more competitive. And we're still high, but not what it was 3 years ago. And yeah, but just, like you said, knowing your competition. Like I talked to a few guys, and we can just talk and just be very transparent. I mean, I've had two companies be a 1099 for me during the winter season for Christmas lights, and work for my company. They know everything. So I'm not like worried about anybody knowing anything, but like you said, knowing your numbers is so important. And I think at a bare minimum, even for the guys just getting started, like 10 cents a square foot was like the bare minimum when I started 15 years ago. No, I'm not saying you should charge Trevor 10 cents, but like there's guys that I know that are charging less than 10 cents a square foot. And it's just mind blowing. Like they're doing beer money. That's all they're doing. It's fucking beer money. Because they have no clue. They put $100 on the board and they get excited because it's not working a 9 to 5. And I see guys and I did a post yesterday too. I'm really getting off topic real fast, but like I did a post yesterday about guys booked out for freaking 16 months right now, talking about how busy they are. And that doesn't mean shit if you're not freaking being profitable. You can be booked out for the next 10 weeks and only have $1,000 on the day, and you're only charging 8 cents a square foot. Like, cool, dude. Like that's not busy. That's just putting stuff on the books, and you're not being profitable. So it really is important to understand your numbers, stay competitive. Like you don't have to be the cheapest guy to stay busy. I promise you that.
I get upset. I honestly do. I get upset when I find out we're not the highest bid. It's like we're having a team meeting right now. We got to figure out what went wrong. Why were we not the most expensive?
Our conversion rate's too high. Yeah, I mean, if you're booked out, I mean, there's seasonality and stuff where you book out a little farther, book out a little closer. But And I think that's a lesson we all learn. Like early on, it's like dating in high school, right? You just want to be wanted. And so you do whatever it takes. And then eventually it's like, yeah, I just don't want to deal with these anymore, right? Like if you're booked out that far, did you say 16 months or 16 weeks, JC?
JC said some numbers.
Yeah, I was just joking. Like, but people are talking about they're booked out till August, September right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know any customer that's going to wait 4 months that wants their house washed today.
That's
There's
the
no
right customer.
But like the people that we see, JC, that are saying that, like that's also that they have that demand that really wants JC to wash their house. That's really what they're saying. They don't want Patriot to do this or whatever. They want just that company or that person. That's what they're waiting for. So the guys who haven't been able to scale themselves. I was curious with the gutter cleaning price. What did you change from and to?
Rob, your microphone is still real choppy, dude. It doesn't like you.
It must have been
too humid. Yeah, did you dump some Mike's Hard on that thing?
It's the thing's fault.
Did you ask me when I changed my pricing from to?
Yeah, for gutter cleaning.
For gutter cleaning, I think we're at 16 a linear foot for first level, and then it goes up. No, hold on. That's gutter guards. I'm horrible. I don't do that part of this.
I say if you're getting 16 foot for a cleaning, dude, I just
it's $1.50, right? Does that sound right? $1.50?
Like 16 cents?
No, 16. That's gutter guards. That's gutter guards. Yeah. I think it's $1.50. I can look it up, man. I don't know. I don't do the quotes.
So we like 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, we switched to doing it per square foot, and we still come out on top every single time. We're always probably one of the highest companies for that too, and it just makes it so much easier for the estimating team just to be able to get a price based off of square footage and rather.
You're talking about gutters, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So here's another thing I wanted to hit on with pricing. And Trevor, we used to do the same. We do linear foot. What we ran into is we started getting 10 to 15 guys on the team. Is like whoever went out there, their judgment of linear foot. And granted, like you can do some measurement tools and stuff, but you couldn't see everything. We went to square footage and kind of did the same thing as JC said, which is like the consumer is really just, again, it's like, what's the market rate? Is it for a gutter clean, $200 or $300? They kind of don't bat an eye, right? Because they're not going to climb up on a ladder and do it. And so we didn't need to be as precise as we thought we needed to be. We ended up charging more for every single job. It was less precise, but there was enough cushion always built in. And so it turned like guys didn't want to do gutter cleaning. And then all of a sudden everybody wanted to do gutter cleaning, right? Paper performance. Like they ended up loving it because they could crank out $1,000+ a day per dude. And they're making big fat paychecks. But it was a lesson in variable elimination. And actually, like, I'm going to relate this to golf for a second because my brother-in-law was learning a golf swing and was like going on some business outings and golfing. And I grew up golfing since I was like 3 years old. Like I always had a damn club in my hands growing up, and I don't even think about my swing, right? Like I just step up to the ball and go. And he's getting 10 pointers, right? And do this with your hands and do this on your backswing. And I was like, Tony, this game is so simple. Like Tony, my brother-in-law, was a college athlete. He's 6'4". That dude, I bet, could hit a ball a freaking mile, right? Like once he figures it out. But he's trying to do all these things that he kept getting all these pointers on. And I just said, Tony, like there's one thing that needs to happen, which is the club has to come through straight and ball with a lot of velocity. So like stop adding variables into your swing. You take the club back and you bring it forward. And what matters is that it's on like a consistent plane and it comes through the ball straight. You're an athlete. Just be an athlete, right? You don't need to think through 30 different things, like eliminate variables. And that really helped them. And like it clicks with me with pricing too, which is you don't need a ton of variables. You want to find 2 to 3 variables that are consistent, that are easy to understand, right? That your clients are going to understand, your employees are going to understand. So you don't need to make it too complex. And it's directionally correct, like it's going to be 99% accurate when you go out, that again, like gutters are a good example. You can do it by linear footage and be like really precise. Square footage definitely is not as precise, but I ran into the same thing you ran into, JC, which is like they just don't, like, nobody bats an eye about it, and it's so much faster, right? And so it's like understood, it's easy to grasp, and you just go. Luke Abbott in the house, what's up, man? Angela jumped on for a little bit and we lost her. I was gonna give her a hard time.
She's on a plane. She's probably like flying and trying to get on here, knowing her.
It's tricky. But
So
I think that,
jump off because Angela actually left me, and
now you're in charge.
We knew she eventually would.
I have to be an adult today and take care of my kids while she goes and hang out with her kids. But yeah, you know, this topic I could talk on for hours because it just drives me insane with these new companies come out there and thinking they have to charge the lowest price to stay busy. I had one guy come pick up some equipment at my shop a couple weeks ago that Thad was selling. And the guy's like, "Oh, you're Cape Fear Pro Wash, man. We beat you every single time. As soon as we know that you're bidding against us, we get so excited because we know we're going to win because we're cheaper." And like that mindset right there will just bankrupt you and put you out of business. And I hate that so many people think they have to be the cheapest to stay busy when you've got so many successful companies charging a premium. I mean, it goes back to, would you rather do 10 jobs in a day and make $2,000, or do 2 jobs in a day and make $2,000? I'm going to go with the 2 every single time. So, you know, it's part of that scarcity mindset and, you know, believing in yourself and your product. And no matter what you do and how you price it, you could be the highest and still win every single time. Same thing with Christmas lights. We're by far the highest Christmas light company in the area. I don't think anybody comes close to what we charge. And yet nobody comes close to putting up the numbers on the board that we do every single year too. So stop thinking you have to charge the lowest or give discounts to get busy, because as long as you provide value, and you know, as a consumer myself, if the price is so freaking cheap, it doesn't make sense, then it's got to be too good for a reason. It's probably because, well, you either don't know what you're doing or you're just getting into it. And that's just not for me. So,
yeah. And JC, was your retort to that guy, "Hey, let me know when you're selling all your equipment"?
Luckily, I wasn't there. Thad was selling the equipment for me, and then he actually wanted to come back and buy more equipment. And I told Thad to tell him to F off because that just kind of annoyed me that he was just bragging about beating me every time. But whatever.
Yeah, that's obnoxious.
All right, I gotta go.
Those are things where you want to. I'd rather win or lose by $500 or $500, not like something crazy. We did a large commercial project.
Rob, you need a new device. Rob, you need an iPhone. You need to change the device. You're not listenable to right now. It's bad. Yeah. No, Michael, that was more clear. That was better. That was more clear. Michael, what, like, obviously you coach tons of businesses. How do you coach pricing?
So I wrote down 3 things. Everything Trevor said. Start there. Just do that. Step 1. So I'm a big believer in profit first. Mike McAllowitz, top lines for vanity, bottom lines for sanity. And not to the extreme where you need 20 bank accounts, but to just have the concept of like pay yourself first. And if you think about the income, money you have coming in, think about like a pie chart, right? So how much profit, net profit do you want to make? Starting with 20% is a good place to start. So right away, just slice off 20%. So now I have 80% left over to pay everything else. And so your cost of goods sold, since everybody here is exterior cleaning, 40-45% is a really good place to be for your cost of goods sold, which means your gross profit is 55 to 60%. And so now we slap that out of the equation as well. So now what we're left over is our operating costs, right? Or like our overhead expenses. And so overhead expenses, they change. And so the next thing after profit is like, where are you at in business? Is if you're brand new, just starting out, you just need to get jobs. Like really put something on the board. I like that JC said that, right? Is I'm just trying to clean a house and make some money. Like at that point in time, it really doesn't matter because you want to get good at the service, figure out how to talk to customers, figure out how to do the job quickly and efficiently, routing, navigating, building your brand, like all the things early on, it doesn't really matter as much. But as you start to scale and your overhead costs start to increase, that's when you really, really want to be very meticulous and thoughtful about how you're pricing your services. So one of the mistakes that I see people making, mostly in the services, but a lot in the trades as well, is they're compensating for like a lack of experience or a lack of speed in their technicians to raise their price because they're not making enough money, when there's inefficiency in routing, there's inefficiency using old outdated material, there's something happening that's keeping them from working as efficiently as possible, so they raise their price to compensate for something. That's something I see with a lot of clients a lot of times, when you should do exactly what both of you said. Look at what your competition is charging. The market dictates what you can charge for the service. Nobody's out there charging $11 a square foot for a house wash. So what is the market in my area dictating? How can I get my processes in line with that? And then decide how you're going to do your cost, your benefit, and your value to match whatever your price and your service is. Are you doing in-person estimates, over the phone estimates? How quickly are you able to get there? All of those things are going to dictate where you're at in the spectrum. And like what Trevor was saying, he's having a meeting if he's not the highest price. I guarantee that's because he has the best process. Everybody's answering the phone when it rings the first time. He's showing up in person or doing estimates and showing up in a uniform, wrapped vehicles. And the whole thing is like choreographed to where he can charge the top price. If you're not doing those things, you can't command it. So I would focus on profit first, paying myself first, knowing what my gross margin is. If you don't know what that is, go to ChatGPT and look up gross margin. Pressure washing, 45 to 55% cost of goods sold, 55 to 60% gross profit. If you're in the trades, try to get 50-50 split. And the rest of it is just your overhead, which will be incredibly variable until you start to level out $1.5 million and above.
I got two more notes on that. One is when you first start out, your COGS are going to look really good because you're probably not taking a paycheck and you're probably out in the field a little bit.
Yep.
Like, make sure you're accounting for the cost of labor in that cost of goods sold. And if it's you, either like, not that you have to take a paycheck. If you're not taxed as an S corp, you're technically not supposed to take a paycheck, which, by the way, as you scale, get taxed as an S corp, and then take a paycheck. But if you're out in the field, I had one of my clients today who has a little bit bigger business out in California. He replied to one of our questionnaires and he said, "Hey, I need to make a change in my books. You guys have me flowing through the admin bucket right now, but I'm actually going out in the field more. I need you to put me back in cost of goods sold for my owner's pay." He's the S corp, he's taking a paycheck, but he's conscious enough to know his COGS are getting diluted and like looking better than they really are. And I see a lot of new business owners do that. Their numbers look better than they really are because their labor looks free. So don't fool yourself into thinking labor is free. Nobody else is going to work for you for free, and you shouldn't either. What was that, Trevor?
I was going to say, which isn't scalable. You get into year 2, 3, 4, and you're adding new trucks and you're adding new lead techs, and you think that your numbers are going to transfer. They're not. The moment you're off the gun, all of a sudden, your COGS are through the roof and you're screwed again. But I was going to say, so much of this, if you want to be the best, highest priced, and demand the most respect in your area, you have to build the brand first. I think you focus on that brand. You look the part, you make sure that the process from start to finish, the customer journey, the customer experience is number one. And everybody on your team knows that's all that matters. Quality of the job, I'll be honest, we don't talk about it that often. We care about the experience. That's it. So build the brand, be recognizable. And then when you get there and you give them the price, even if you're 20-30% higher than everybody else, it's expected. Don't park down the street. Park your $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 rig right in front of the house. Make sure they see it. Make sure they know that you're not the same, right? Build the brand. They're going to expect a higher price. And most of them, as you build that client base, they're going to want to pay the higher price.
And again, just to build on that, Michael, you talked a little bit about the overhead and so forth. And back to what I originally said about like making sure you're charging the market rate and not based on your cost is when you first start out, you don't have overhead. You don't have an admin person. You don't have a shop that you rent. You run it out of your house. You've maybe got some software for a CRM, FSN type of software. But you're not going to have all the infrastructure. Your insurance isn't going to be nearly as high because it's your truck. It's not some 20-year-old kid driving it. As you scale, you're going to have all those costs. Don't wait until you have them to charge enough to pay for them.
Yes.
When you first start out, charge the market rate. You might feel criminal doing it because you're going to be like, holy shit, I'm making way too much money. But charge what the market price is, because believe me, you're going to need all that money as you scale for new trucks, new equipment, that big facility you want to rent. Don't wait till you have it to charge enough to pay for it. charge it right from the get-go. A, your clients don't know whether you have all that infrastructure or not. B, the worst businesses that I see are the ones that don't charge enough early. And this is like from a bookkeeping perspective, like who I see, if success is measured in profit, which it is, as Michael said, revenue is vanity, profit is sanity. Success being measured in profit, you're going to need all of that money. And if you get there and you haven't been charging enough, you get pinched really bad when you start adding crew number 2 and crew number 3. I see guys go negative, and like they were making money and now they're losing money. That sucks, man. Like it sucks to work as hard as we all work and to not make any money. And we've probably all been there for a little bit, and you learn some hard lessons, and hard lessons are good lessons. But man, take it from us. You don't have to learn them. You can learn them right here. You don't have to learn the hard way by being broke.
Somebody we all know really well, Dan, and kind of becoming an influencer in the space for washing. I was a business coach 2019, 2020. Had to raise his price 50% overnight. Freaked out because like he was just way underbidding, doing 150, 200,000 at a time. And it's a struggle. Like when you have to, you almost like 50, 60% raise your prices just to become profitable as you get more crews. That's hard. So do it as early as possible. Like I said, if you're just starting out your first 30, 40, 50 jobs, who cares? Just get good at it. But as soon as you get good at it, raise price and get it to a more competitive number.
Yeah.
We honestly probably do it once every 6 months. We'll sit down and we'll dissect the numbers and make sure each service that we offer is profitable. I think it's okay to have a loss leader, right? For us, it's window cleaning. Window cleaning is like, man, if I could do away with that, I would so fast. But I'm not going to say no to 30% of our phone calls that could potentially, the lifetime value, right, of that customer. So it is what it is.
You get eyes on the property. And you get out there like, hey, you know what? Like all those black stains on your roof, we can do that. Oh, hey, this rust over here, we got that, no problem. Like nobody else can take care of rust the way we can take care of rust.
A perfect example, Michael, I was talking to Doug today. We're running some ads. Doug runs my for Click Call Sell. By the way, Click Call Sell. If you guys are looking for a digital agency, holy cow, these guys are the best, man. Seriously, I'm not kidding.
Thanks, dude.
Agreed.
Really
two
sharp.
happy clients. 2 happy clients right here.
Doug,
it's like incestual in here.
Doug was fantastic today, but we discussed, running gutter cleaning versus gutter guard installation ads today. And we landed on the fact that I would rather get that low hanging fruit, which is gutter cleaning. It's so easy to get the phone to ring for gutter cleaning, and then give my techs the opportunity, train them to sell gutter guards in the field, and then they can make their commission, and we're paying from the bottom up, not the top down. Right. And so we're also spending a lot less on Google spend because, what do you think, Google? I mean, I called you Google.
My wife calls me Google too.
Michael Google.
For sure. And plus your total addressable market, there's way more people searching gutter cleaning than gutter installation. And gutter installation clicks are really expensive. And when you are an exterior cleaning company that can do gutter installation and gutter cleaning, you can sell like both things, right? Because gutter cleaning companies are saying, oh, you don't want to get gutter guards. You got to clean them out every 3 or 4 years. It's a pain. Screw them, unscrew them. Like you just get them clean, you're going to be fine. And then if you do the other one, you're like, well, you're in a situation where this is better, where that's better. And so you don't have to sell against the competition. You can give them literally what they need.
Yeah. And the other thing I noticed real quick, it's because I wanted to say it when you were talking about that earlier, Dan, if you raise your prices too late after the process and then you lose all these clients because they're like, you're crazy, I'm not paying that price. Number one, those first clients were not your customer avatar 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now. So you don't want to go down that road.
Yeah.
And you build a client list of people that are tire kickers and cheap, and you don't want that. And the other thing is, I think most new business owners underestimate the deteriorating equipment costs. If you don't charge enough 3 years from now, you're going to be broke and you will not be able to afford to replace that rig because it's going to need to be overhauled within 3 years. That's just the way it is.
And when a recession hits and leads get a little bit more expensive and tougher to find, you won't be able to afford Michael to help get your leads, or you won't be able to afford to spend money on recruiting to find employees to go clean the stuff that you do have.
Yep.
Like it puts you in such a bind to be the cheap guy. I mean,
you can't afford to take care of your team. Why would they want to work for you? You're not making money. How are they going to make money? It makes no sense.
Exactly. Oh, Barry Little's in the house. What's up, Bear? Brandon Brandon had a good point here that I want to hit on for a second too. He said, I'm starting to push window cleaning and window cleaning service plans due to the low cost of entry and get customer volume. Michael's he every time I talk about marketing, I forget about this. And when Michael talks about marketing, it's the first thing he always says, which I think is hilarious because he makes money when you pay him to do ads. But the first thing he always says is client list, right? Like hit your client list. It's generally pretty free. And so, and Trevor, you talked about it as a loss leader, and yeah, you might see some stuff while you're out there. Man, the value of having a bigger client list when times get tough and you hit seasonal slow periods, like you can just farm that thing and like keep building the relationship and keep helping them. As your business matures, you will never be like, oh, I'm really bummed I have 10,000 people in my database. I see a lot of, and I'm not saying this is bad, but I see a lot of people get so hung up on their average ticket. And
Yes.
I'm way more concerned about my average profitability, right? Like, again, average ticket is a revenue measure. It doesn't necessarily mean it's more profitable. And starting with some small tickets and building some trust is just fine. I get ridiculed. My bookkeeping, I start at $147 a month. I don't have too many clients that fall in there. And now I'm picking on Yeti. Again, I have tons of respect for Yeti. They're like my top competitor, but like we're very friendly. I think they start pushing at like close to $400 a month. And I get it, right? They want a bigger client, a bigger average ticket. So a lot of the smaller guys are just not going to sign up for that. I want to work with the guy that's doing 100 to 200,000 bucks. That's, to me, that's when I believe that they actually need the help to to scale properly. Because if I can catch them there, I can teach them a lot of these things. And I can play CFO for them at that level and help them get to $1 million and $2 million, $3 million way faster than if I'm taking a bunch of their money. And so I don't, and again, I maybe think differently, but average ticket's not that important to me. The long game is super important to me. I will do a very low price job. And I'm not saying like not profitable, right? If a client is $147 a month, it takes us hardly no time at all. It's super profitable. It's like they have nothing on their balance sheet. It's like the easiest bookkeeping in the world. It's not that it's not profitable. It actually gets less profitable as they get bigger in a way. But I'm not going to deny a small house for window cleaning or a small house for gutter cleaning. I need to charge enough to afford me to like bring all my equipment out there and back. But I don't want to miss that relationship because someday they're going to own a big house and I want to make sure or maybe that's like a second house or they're going to have a relationship and refer me. I don't want to deal with shitty people that are cheap and try to negotiate my pricing. If somebody starts trying to negotiate my pricing, my immediate retort is, oh, let me introduce you to some of my competitors. Like, if you're going to try to negotiate my pricing, which is just purely mathematical, I know exactly what it takes for us to do a really good job, and I will never sacrifice doing a really good job for somebody. It's like, if you don't want to pay it, that's fine. Here's some other people you can negotiate with. Like, I'm just not like, it's just mathematical. It's based on these variables, and for us to guarantee that we can do a badass job for you, it's going to cost this much. If it's not that valuable to you, that doesn't mean I'm a bad guy or you're a bad guy. We just shouldn't do business together until you think this is valuable enough. So point being is like, don't get too hung up on that average ticket. Get hung up on building that client list and being profitable. There's small tickets and big tickets that are profitable. Don't get so hung up in average ticket that you're doing a bunch of big jobs that are a pain in the ass and aren't profitable. Don't, and just no matter what the job size is, don't sacrifice your core values to work with a shitty person that doesn't see your value.
So
Angela's back in the house.
I look at
Hello.
hey girl.
I just had to say hi. You guys were all sounding, brilliant as normal.
You really ruined the vibe here, Angela. Matt Matheson early on pointed this out. He didn't know why this was the case. Matt Matheson, first comment says, "Why is everyone so beautiful today?" And very quickly the consensus was it was because you're not here, and therefore we all just look a lot better if you're not on here. So now you're all making us look bad. But good to see you. Where are you headed? What are you doing? What are you up to?
I am in Chicago. Yes, where in the world? Normally it's where in the world is Angela and JC, but I'm on a trip without
where
him.
in the world is Angela? Ditched him.
Toby is studying abroad this fall in Spain and had to do an in-person interview for a couple days in Chicago to get her student visa. So I came to meet her. Yeah.
Awesome. What are you guys up to? You doing like Navy Pier or anything cool in Chicago, or just chilling?
I'm working in the mornings. We're doing some shopping and eating at some great restaurants. And Drew is actually in town. I put a Facebook post out for recommendations, and Drew's actually in town today. So we're meeting him for dinner. I was like, thanks for making my trip tax deductible.
There you go. There you go. Count on Drew. Drew's the shit. I like Drew.
Thank you for me doing a client meeting and making this trip deductible on my taxes.
Nailed it. I gotta hit this comment from Tyler Starkey. This is Tyler nailed it. He said, absolutely, our services are for sale, not on sale. That's a good little one-liner there. I like that quote. Might be using that one in the future if you don't mind there, Tyler. I like that. But yeah, like pricing is just such a finicky thing. But again, we get so hung up on it sometimes. I see people get all like stressed out about it, and just don't, because you can change it tomorrow. To that point, and I mentioned this earlier, but I want to spend a second talking about it. And this is super important if you're in a recurring service business, is that you let your customers know. I don't know if I wish I would have done this in maid service business, because if I had, maybe I'd still be running my maid service businesses and not here doing sweet shit talking to you guys. But we didn't let our clients know what the pricing change cadence was and how it changed. Now, when I do bookkeeping, like, here's the pricing matrix, and we adjust it every spring. And that is a conversation I have with everybody right up front. And again, like, when you set the expectation of here's how our pricing works and here's when it changes and here's how it changes, there's no disagreement. There's no negotiation. There's no stress about it. It's just like, this is exactly how it works. And it's going to work like this every time. And it builds in an opportunity for us to adjust. Now, again, that's really important for recurring services. With one-time services, you can be even more loosey-goosey about it. You can change it whenever you want. But it's really important that you change your prices. There's a thing that I've noticed every time I have changed prices when I've waited too long, which is, if you wait like 2 or 3 years and you change prices, the clients that have used you for a while have an expectation of what their price is. And when you adjust your price, which 99.999% of the time goes up because the world is doing that, right? I've never actually had a client come back to me and say, hey, Dan, thanks for discounting my services for the last 3 years. I know you should have raised your prices, but I really appreciate that you held them steady and gave me that discount. No, nobody fucking says that. They all come to you and say, like, I've been so loyal. How dare you raise my price after my continued loyalty, right? Nobody thanks you for the discount you've given them. So, like, don't give them that discount. Change your price every single year. And like, I don't even care if you change it up or down or change it by a penny, but let your clients know it. The price changes every single year and that they should expect it to change every single year. Because if you don't, their expectation automatically becomes that the price is the same every single year. And they get pissed when you do change it instead of thanking you for the discount for all those years where you didn't change it. It's like thankless. So you need to make sure that you keep changing it. If it gets stale, it becomes an expectation. And when it becomes an expectation, then you're a bad guy or a bad girl when you go and change it. So don't wait to change it. Change it. Keep changing it.
Yeah, my 2 favorite metrics, it's different than most people. Like you said, I don't really care about those other numbers. It's just not that important to me. Average hourly pay, what my guys actually average on their paycheck, that matters to me. And at Clean Image, we're averaging over $60 an hour right now.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. And dude, how better of a metric to feel good about what you do and what you provide for your people. I mean, it's just the best thing ever. And the other one that I really pay attention to is average day rate. I want to know every day. And it's those are the only 2 metrics that I pay attention to religiously. I want to know what the day rate is to make sure we're hitting our daily target. And if we're hitting that, I sleep like a baby. But as soon as either one of those metrics start to dip at all, I'm paying attention. What's going on? Do we need to raise our prices? Are we missing things? Or did we not know that there was 2 screen-in porches on that job? Who they're, full accountability, not one directional accountability from the top down, but from the bottom up. The guys actually.
That's where pay per performance is so valuable, because it's like, if it starts going down, you're all losing together. And if it starts going up, you're all winning together. So it's not like, hey, what the hell happened out there? What were you doing? It's like, hey, what happened out there? Did we miss something that we need to
didn't
get
work,
right together so we can keep paying you a shitload of money? Like if
Yep.
we didn't hit it, that sucks for everybody together. So we should fix that together.
Yeah, for sure.
Beauty.
I'm about to go get my nails done, fellas.
No, I think we're gonna miss trivia today.
I think we're gonna miss trivia. We had too much good stuff. Too many. We got comments rolling in. We got questions. We got nerds. We got it all. And Trevor.
And Trevor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Somebody's got to bring the good looks.
Oh, there it is. It's the hair. It's the hair. Don't let it deceive you. If I had bad hair,
It's not actually gel. He just hasn't showered in 2 weeks, is what it is.
Yeah, it could be what it is,
actually,
yeah.
we had our septic tank back into the house, so I actually didn't shower for 2 days up until this morning. They finally fixed it, but that
kind of sounds like ice fishing. Sounds like ice fishing, not showering.
It felt like ice fishing, except the water wasn't as cold.
Nobody stepped in a hole and tore their knee up and dislocated a shoulder.
That happened?
Yeah, Jeremy Jennings went down hard. I'm excited. I see Jeremy in August. I'm curious if he'll be back to 100%. Like
he tore his ACL, right?
He sprained his MCL, I think is what it was.
Sprained is fine, yeah.
And he dislocated his shoulder, and his knee was looking in bad shape. I was actually more worried about his knee after it happened than his shoulder, but he said the knee is like coming around, but he's still in physical therapy for his shoulder. Messed him up pretty good. That ice fishing in the fish house took that boy right out.
Hey, Brandon
wants to know who has implemented service plans for window cleaning or full exterior service plans.
We've done that. Yeah, we've done that. It's a newer process. We call it our wash club. There's an initial cost involved just to be a member of the wash club, and that gives you opportunity for multiple service discounts and things like that. And one of the things we push is regulating the visits and putting it in a budget. We've had a hard time figuring out a way to let's call it $2,000, right? You have a $2,000 annual service. We've had a hard time figuring out how to put their card on file and run them, divide it by 12 months out of the year and run the card for that amount, because people move, people have different financial situations. They got to cancel last minute. Then you have a cancellation policy, and then you're chasing money. So it's like this awkward, how do we do it process. So what we've done is we just go on ChatGPT and do it. Basic service agreement. And then we put their card on file. And when the service is scheduled, we let them know the day ahead. We don't give them too much time, because then, too much time to think about it, they might change their mind. But we give them a day's notice, and we come out. We might do the gutter cleaning or the dryer vent cleaning, and we tell them how many times a year it'll be done. And then we just run their card when the job's done. And that seems to be working, but it's like, I don't know why this industry can't get closer to like the pest control model. Like, we don't know when the pest control guy is going to show up. He just shows up, does the jobs, takes our money, and we don't even pay attention to it. Why can't we get to that level? It's just difficult.
Sometimes it's that analogy that you need to drop on them when you dish out the program, because we ran into the same thing in recruiting, which is people are like, oh, I found my 2 employees, I'm gonna turn off the recruiting service. And I'm like, yeah, but you don't turn off your Google ads, right? You don't shut your website down. You don't, when you slow down in the winter, you don't shut your CRM down. You want that data, right? And recruiting is no different than running Google ads. It's no different than running a CRM. You build this list to market to. And so we've done that with our Hire Lead Chill recruiting service, which is, it's a monthly service, and it's monthly forever and ever. Like, when would you not want to have the best people in the world on your team? Oh, you always do? Yeah, fucking right. So like, why would you cancel the thing that ensures your life is easy and best as possible by having the best employees in the world? It has to be an ongoing service. And it goes up and down as you need to add stuff. But the baseline of that data set and the ability to like retarget people you've already added to your employee candidate list never goes away. Why would you want to give that up? Just like you wouldn't shut your website down, just like you wouldn't turn off your Google ads. You might change how much you're spending with Google. Just like if you're recruiting, you might change whether you're boosting an ad on Indeed or not, but always be recruiting, right? And so it's like a funny education thing. And to your point, just like pest control, people are conditioned to know that it just happens and they pay like a monthly fee. And so you almost need to like point to a thing and be like, hey, just like you do here, we do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Right. The exact same. This is how it goes.
So
we
we
just take some education.
I gotta go, but I just posted. I spelled a word wrong. Clint. I just put the T in the end mixed up. Sorry about that.
You got some clients.
Yeah, Dylan Mogimi and Ryan Johnson. They both have courses on how to do this, and they both cracked the code. I've tried so many times, but they both, and I know for a fact because I've been on a coaching call. Ryan is coaching dozens of people on how to do this, so I've been involved with him, and it's working really well for him.
If you had to invite one of them to be on a podcast, which one would it be?
Both of them. They're both great in their own.
I need a name.
Yeah.
I know it's live.
No, they're both awesome people.
They're right on the screen.
I'd invite Ryan Mogimi and Dylan Johnson.
Yeah.
All right, maybe we'll do a collab then.
I could do a collaboration. That might be really cool. How they're doing it differently and like the battle of the service agreements.
I'm gonna text him here real quick and get him on the Home Service Happy Hour podcast before.
Hey man,
Yeah,
that's
appreciate that too.
That's locked in. Don't steal the.
You gotta go, guys. See ya.
Hey, brother. Always
Hey,
good to
Michael.
see you.
I got to get going too. I actually have a meeting that started a minute ago. But
Well, I'm going to get my nails done. Not even kidding. So
you are just a weird, pretty boy.
Hey,
You're
what?
the weirdest redneck pretty boy. I appreciate it. I like it.
All right,
I'm
brother.
down. All right, man. Thanks, Trevor. Home service homies, you guys know what to do. Work smarter and harder. Go earn some pride. I got Justin Boyd on tonight. CFO, Boyd CFO. I won't get his business name right. He can tell you when you come on tonight and check it out. But we'll have Justin Boyd on talking all kinds of nerdy finance stuff. He works with a lot of home service business owners too. Works with Trevor, who was just on. And actually, Justin was the dude. Like he and I went to college together. We had nerdy. You're gonna love this. We had like nerdy honors accounting classes together. It was like 9 of us, and I was the dumb one. And I would every time they would say something, I'd be like, Justin, what the hell are they talking about? So Justin's coming on the show tonight. It's gonna be a ton of fun nerding out on some home service finance stuff, if you will. So come and check that out. We'll see you tonight. Peace out.